Hi everyone, it's Christine from the Art Studio. Today's video looks at air drying clay, and I'm going to show you how to create something similar to what you see on the table here. These little discs are all made from air drying clay, and the clay that I've used to create them is Das clay. Das clay comes in white and terracotta. But this particular clay I've used is the white one. This is a kilogram bag of clay, and for the purposes of something like this you'd have more than enough in a bag that size. So I'm just going to sort of talk you through what I've done here. Instructions for this are suitable for children to follow. They may need some assistance and guidance whilst doing so, but the clay is suitable for children to use. As I say, it's air drying and it dries quite quickly, and I'll talk about that in a little while. But what you can see here are a series of little discs that I've made. Each one has a hole in them so they can be hung up. So you can create a mobile, you could create just a little hanging piece. As you can see, I've used a stick and some ribbon just to kind of display these. And they've also got little indentations on them to create texture and pattern. Each one has a separate piece of clay which is raised slightly in the centre, and they've been painted as well, and parts of them have been painted. So I'm just going to move this out of the way a little bit, and then I'm just going to talk to you about how to create these. So the first thing you need to do is to pull off a piece of clay and just roll it in the palms of your hands. It can be any size you want. Mine is this sort of size, so it's not too big. This one here, you may notice that it's starting to crack a little, and that can be for a variety of reasons. As I say, it is air drying clay. It dries quite quickly, but you have got plenty of time to sort of work with it. If you start to see that it's cracking, you can add a little bit of water just to sort of smooth it down, and then you can work with it a little bit more. But once you're sort of happy that you've created a nice circular piece of clay, what you need to do is to push it down with the palm of your hands. Okay, so push it onto a table, flatten it down, then you've created like a little disc. Okay, so just a disc of clay, a bit like this here. If you're supervising children, just make sure that it's nice and flat and as even as you can on both sides. Once you've done that, to create a sort of detailed texture like you can see on these ones here, I've used just a normal pencil, sharp pencil, and I've just pushed into the clay to create a pattern. So whatever you want to do, most of mine have kind of gone around the outside for the patterns. This one here, the dots focus around the little leaf design in the centre, and then this one, if you can see this one I've used my pencil just to create some sort of dash marks around the outside. So if you were going to do something like that, just use your pencil on the side. Okay, so whatever kind of pattern you want to create on there. The other pattern that you can see on this one, I don't know if you can see these little sort of circular patterns going around. That was made just using the end of a pen. So this particular pen has got a nice sort of indentation here. So just pushing that into the clay, and you can see it's created a really nice pattern. Okay, so I've just pushed that in, and then when it dries, obviously those indentations will stay where you can see them. Now, I'll just move that out there. If you wanted to create another piece on top here, so for example the heart or the leaves, you just need to pull off some more clay. When you're attaching the clay to the disc, make sure that it's attached all the way around, so really smooth out any areas. So again, if you're working with children, you want to make sure that that's properly attached so that that piece doesn't fall off when it's dry. So a little bit of water just working around there just to make sure it's fully attached. because otherwise it will probably fall off. So that you need to really make sure. So you might be able to see on this one it's a bit thicker. You can sort of get in there with a finger just to kind of make sure it's fully attached, and then once they're dry, and they'll probably take about 24 hours to dry fully, they can be painted. So you can see the ones that I've done here, I've just painted little parts of them. I haven't painted the whole thing. This clay, once it's dry, you can use any sort of water-based paint. I'd probably avoid using watercolour because you want some quite strong pigment on there, and you might not get that effect with watercolour. But you could use acrylic, or you could use poster paint or something like that. I've gone for a bit of a gold and silver theme here, so I've just used gold and silver and a bit of rose gold, which you can buy in acrylic. But I actually found these in the pound shop, these acrylic paint markers, which are really good. They're De La Rowney, which is a really good make, and they are quite good for doing detail like this. Very easy to use, again suitable for children to sort of use with some assistance, obviously. And you could, if you wanted to, use, instead of doing a circle, you could use cookie cutters. So you could do different shapes. So there's lots of different varieties that you could do. The last thing is to create a hole so that you can hang your pieces. Again, that's just done with a pencil, so literally just all the way through the clay, making sure that the hole is visible on both sides. And the other thing just to sort of be aware of is when you do that hole, you don't want it too close to the edge because you don't want it to break off. So you need to have a bit of thickness there so that when you do string them or put ribbon or whatever it is to hang them, it's not going to break. And lastly, once that's done and they're dry, you can see like I say, I've just put mine on this piece of stick, but you could use a wire coat hanger, or they could just hang on their own. They'd look quite nice in the window perhaps. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you have done, and thanks for watching. Bye.